It's Thursday, November 28th. Good morning. I'm Catherine Jeté.
I'm Paul Cook. Here's what's making news right now.
A man is shot in a violent carjacking near Dundas in the Don Valley Parkway. Toronto police track down the suspect and discover he's the same man wanted for a string of shootings on the 401 in Mississauga on Tuesday.
Highway 27 and Rutherford Road in Vaughan is closed after a multi-vehicle crash. A young man and woman who ran from the scene now under arrest.
The federal government says premiers have agreed to play as Team Canada after an emergency meeting over President Trump's tariff threat. Adding new border resources and tighter visa rules may soon be on the way.
All eyes on the Upper West Side of Manhattan this morning. The iconic Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in the rain. We have everything about the big holiday stateside.
The Maple Leafs fell in Florida. The Raptors finally got a road win, and it's U.S. Thanksgiving. You know that means lots of football today. Sports at 45.
The GST holiday plan set to get the legislative green light in Ottawa today. The Toronto stock market starts the day with the TSX at a record high, business at 56.
680 News Time, 7:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones for exitpay.ca. In the traffic cruiser, it's Jordan Kerr.
A lot of big issues happening on city streets right now. So Highway 27 in Rutherford closed for a block in all directions because of a collision investigation. At Airport Road in Beauvais, there's a collision in the intersection. So Beauvais was blocked through Airport Road both ways. That may have reopened. It's not too bad east and westbound, but north and southbound Airport Road, only the right lane is closed either side because of the crash. It's really heavy southbound from Sandalwood. There's also a crash eastbound Steeles east of Martin Grove in the left lane, jammed up from Highway 27. And southbound Kipling, a new collision at Evans Avenue south of the Gardiner. Two left lanes are closed off there, so it's heavy on both directions approaching the intersection. From the traffic center, here's Craig Gear.
Busy on the Gardiner both ways, eastbound from Parkland to east of Jameson and westbound from Jarvis towards the construction. Don't sign anything if you've been terminated, fired, or dismissed from your job. You may be entitled to more. Call 855-EXIT-PAY or visit exitpay.ca for your free consultation with a lawyer. With the forecast, Jill Taylor.
Some wet flurries in spots this morning, some sunny breaks for the afternoon, and the wind will pick up today out of the north-northwest. Right now, it feels closer to -1 with just a light wind out of the northeast. The guaranteed high today, 5.
680 News Time, 7:33.
Breaking news from the city's East End, where police have arrested the man accused of shooting at passing cars early Tuesday morning in Mississauga after a violent carjacking last night, just east of the DVP, where a driver has been shot.
680's Kevin Meisner's near the scene and joins us live. Kevin.
Yeah, Paul, remnants of yellow police tape are still knotted around the signposts here at Dundas and Carroll, just east of the Don Valley Parkway, where a man was shot and his car stolen in a carjacking last evening. Toronto police say it was one of several incidents where a man pointed a gun at drivers and tried to take their vehicles. Tammy lives nearby and heard the sirens last night.
It's scary. It's very scary. I'm glad it's resolved. I mean, I hope the person that was shot is okay, but it's terrifying.
The victim does remain in hospital in life-threatening condition this morning. Alexis is now considering what he would do in a similar situation.
It's pretty dangerous, and I was speaking with my wife, and I said, if this happens to you, just give them the car. You know, your life is most important.
Now, police officers fanned out across the area, tracking down the stolen SUV near Lakeshore and Carlaw, where the suspect crashed into a gas pump. 29-year-old Troy Ledrew was arrested after a foot chase. A handgun was recovered. He's the same man wanted in connection with a string of incidents on the 401 highway near Dixie Road in Mississauga Tuesday, which saw a man walking on the highway, pointing a gun at cars or firing shots. In those cases, no one was injured. Near Dundas and Don Valley Parkway, I'm Kevin Meisner.
680 News Time, 7:34. Happening now in Vaughan. The intersection of Highway 27 and Rutherford Road is closed following a multi-vehicle crash. Joins us live with more.
Laura and Catherine, this was a three-vehicle crash that happened around 4:45 this morning. York Regional Police say two people from one of the vehicles ran from the scene.
There was a canine track that took place afterwards, and the two suspects were located nearby and brought into custody.
The suspects under arrest, a young man and young woman. Police say the vehicle they were in was not stolen. As for the injuries, police say one person was taken to hospital, though their injuries are not considered major. No word yet on what caused the crash or what charges will be laid. Highway 27 and Rutherford Road could still be closed for a couple of hours as police continue to investigate. Reporting live, I'm Laura Carney.
680 News Time, 7:35. Beefed up security and no umbrellas allowed. It's U.S. Thanksgiving, and that means those massive helium balloons will float through New York City today, where it'll be rainy and cold for the nearly century-old Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. 680's Jamie Pulver is here live to set the scene for America's Day of family, football, and food.
Happy Freedom Day, ladies. Come on, let loose and show me something.
This morning.
Anything. Seriously, take it on there.
It's the iconic Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. People started lining that route at 4 a.m. amid big security.
There will be an increased police presence, both along the parade route and in the surrounding neighborhoods, including entry point screenings.
New York City's police commissioner says there are no credible or specific threats to the parade. There are 22 floats, more than a dozen of those giant
your Freedom Day wish.
Lady Gaga is not on the long list of performers, but rain is going to be an issue happening well into the parade. Starting at 8:30, a record 80 million people are traveling over this holiday. If you're heading across the border for Black Friday, like into Buffalo, heads up, there's heavy lake effect snow in the forecast. Reporting live, Jamie Pulver.
680 News Time, 7:37. An emergency First Ministers meeting was held last evening over U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's threat to slap a 25% tariff on all goods from our country once he takes office in January. And while the federal government left the meeting preaching unity, 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney says some provinces are giving mixed reaction.
Calling it a positive meeting, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says federal and provincial leaders agreed to work together on U.S. challenges, adding it needs to be a united and coordinated effort.
We need to play for Team Canada.
With President Trump using the threat to raise issues about drugs and migrants crossing into the U.S., the feds are looking to implement more resources for border security and have suggested it could include drones, helicopters, and new technologies. They're also considering further tightening visa rules for Mexico. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says there's no downside to these investments.
If we invest in law enforcement and we crack down on drug trafficking here at a time when that message might be well received in the States.
Other premiers are less positive. Alberta's Danielle Smith suggests they'll do things on their own to build energy relations with the U.S., while Ontario's Doug Ford is criticizing the feds as slow to react when dealing with the U.S. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 7:38. Finally, the Raptors have their first road win of the season. As Simon Bennett tells us, it was a dominant victory in New Orleans.
It's been quite the week for Toronto's Ochai Agbaji. 0 points in Detroit on Monday, prompting this from coach Darko Rajakovic.
He needs to be better. Simple as that.
How's this? Big night.
Car Care Right.
680 News Time, 7:41.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones for Leon's in the traffic cruiser. Here's Jordan Kerr.
We'll start up with the one issue that cleared. Southbound Kipling at Evans Avenue, south of the Gardner. That issue's gone. Other issues on city streets, though. Eastbound Steeles, east of Martin Grove. The left lane is blocked with a collision, just on the east side of the intersection. It's backed up from Signal Hill, which is just after the 427 overpass. So very heavy along that stretch all the way to just past Martin Grove on eastbound Steeles. At Airport Road in Beauvais, there was a collision in the middle of the intersection. North and southbound Airport Road down to just one right lane either side at Beauvais, and east and westbound Beauvais was closed through Airport Road because of that collision. Also, the intersection of Highway 27 and Rutherford closed for a block all ways because of a collision. Now on the highways, eastbound 401 is busy approaching Guelph Line to east of it, then delays from Mavis to Huron, Ontario, and the collectors from the 410 to Kiel Express and collectors, and eastbound 409 backed up Martin Grove to the 401. Northbound DVP is filling in, approaching Eglinton up to York Mills. Westbound 401 slowdowns 412 to Salem, Nielsen to west of Avenue, then Kiel Express 400 collectors to Dixon, and southbound 404 DVP delays Major Mackenzie, then south of Finch towards Bayview Bloor. From the traffic center, Craig Gear.
It's slow on the Toronto-bound QEW passing Nikola Tesla through to third line on and off, and then east of Erin Mills to Dixie you get slow. The Garner is busy from Islington, mostly in the express to east of Jameson as you get through the downtown construction. Westbound delays joining from Jarvis right about there all the way through to approaching Jameson, and then slow on the QEW westbound 427 to Huron, Ontario, and Ford Drive to Trafalgar. Leo on.ca. With the forecast, Jill Taylor.
Well, we still have some wet flurries and spots, especially for areas right near the Lake Ontario shoreline. 5 degrees, a guaranteed high. Could get some sunny breaks for the afternoon. And then tonight, partly cloudy, windy, -1 will feel like -6 for early Friday. Chance of flurries tomorrow. Could even get some snow squalls that wander into parts of the GTA, even close of Toronto, especially late Friday night, early Saturday. Snow squalls, though, will be a big issue for areas near Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Friday right through to Sunday. Tomorrow's high just +2. Right now, it feels closer to -1. It's just a very light wind out of the northeast. It will pick up out of the north-northwest today. It's 1 degree. Some light snow flurries still reported at Pearson. The guaranteed high, 5.
680 News Time, 7:43.
The plan by the Trudeau government to give a 2-month GST holiday will make its way through the legislative process today in Ottawa.
But as we hear from 680's Mike Eppel, the idea of $250 GST rebate checks next year is nowhere near a sure thing.
Under pressure from the NDP, the Trudeau government has split the legislation required for the GST holiday from the GST rebate checks. The NDP say they will support the motion on removing the federal tax for 2 months starting December 14th. Only agreeing to that, though, after Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland separated the GST break from the promise to also send $250 checks to most working Canadians in the spring. The NDP demanding a debate on that. They want to see that benefit expanded. The GST holiday, meantime, affects dozens of items commonly purchased at Christmas time, including children's clothes and toys, video games and consoles, Christmas trees, restaurants and catered meals, wine, beer, candy, and snacks. And so the Ford government on Wednesday announced it would remove the provincial portion of the sales tax, costing about $1 billion in revenue. The federal move expected to cost about $1.6 billion. At the Business Center, I'm Mike Eppel.
Won't be beat. See Flyer for details.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. 680 News Radio.
It is cloudy right now. Some light rain in spots. 2 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good morning. I'm Catherine Jeté.
I'm Paul Cook. Here are the top stories this Thursday morning.
A man is under arrest facing a long list of charges after allegedly shooting a man and stealing his vehicle last night in Riverside. Police believe he's the same man who shot at drivers and stole a car near the 401 in Dixie earlier this week. Traffic alert in Vaughan. A multi-vehicle crash has shut down the intersection of Highway 27 and Rutherford Road. And it's Thanksgiving Day in the USA. Americans will gather by the thousands to watch the Macy's parade in New York. It gets underway at 8:30.
Time now for sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Simon Bennett.
Catherine, another game without their captain. It was probably the worst the Maple Leafs have looked with Austin Matthews on the shelf. A dominant Panthers win in Sunrise last night, 5-1. Just the Leafs' second loss in 9 without number 34. Matthews leading a growing group of injured forwards. You can add Bobby McMahon to that list, but they hope to get some bodies back, Matthews included, Saturday in Tampa Bay. Finally, a road win for the Raptors, who were 0-10 before last night in New Orleans after going pointless in Detroit Monday. Ochai Agbaji had 24. Jamison Battle with 24 off the bench as well. It was a 119-93 win over the Pelicans. They end their road swing in Miami tomorrow. And U.S. Thanksgiving means 3 games in the NFL today. Bears-Lions at 12:30, Cowboys-Giants at 4:30, and Dolphins-Packers tonight. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
680 News Time, 7:47.
Hi, I'm Mike Combs. Are you looking to renovate your kitchen or bathroom? Hiring a reliable and honest professional who will treat your home like it's their own.
680 News Time, 7:48. Russia has launched a massive drone and missile attack against Ukraine. Officials say the attacks targeted the country's energy infrastructure, and more than 1 million homes are now without power. Jane Secker of Sky News has more.
President Putin has been talking in Astana. He says that the Russians used 90 missiles to strike Ukraine overnight. 100 drones were also used. That was apparently in response response to the ATACMS system. That is the latest that we're getting from President Putin. We know that these attacks have been widespread, have caused enormous outages to the energy system, the electricity system across Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling the attack a despicable escalation of Russian terrorist tactics. Striking postal workers are holding a rally today at Canada Post's head office in Ottawa. CUPW says it's trying to send a strong message to the Crown Corporation to get back to the bargaining table. Yesterday, the special mediator in the talks decided to suspend mediation efforts, saying the two sides remain far apart on critical issues. The federal government says it is not planning to intervene to resolve the labor dispute. Still to come on 680 News Radio.
Young chefs are opting to forego traditional cookbooks and instead are finding kitchen inspo on social media.
680 News Time 7:50.
Vision's Electronics
Give the gift that roars at Mervish.com.
680 News Time 7:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. For Mark Feldstein at Associates in the traffic cruiser, here's Jordan Kerr.
You're going to find delays on the westbound 401, west of Brock Street to approaching Salem, then McCowan to west of Avenue, and then again from Keele Express 400 collectors to Dixon. There are delays west of Highway 25 to Guelph Line, just busy through there, and eastbound 401 is busy through Guelph Line, approaching it to east of it. More delays approaching Mavis to Huron, Ontario and the collectors, then eastbound 401 is slow. East of the 410 to Keele in both express and collectors. Southbound on the 404, busy south of Mulock, then from Elgin Mills to south of Major Mackenzie, and then delays from Finch onto the Don Valley Parkway down to Don Mills. It's also busy on the Bayview Bloor ramp, but not super jammed up yet. It's getting busier as the morning goes on. On city streets, a number of issues on the go. So eastbound Steeles just on the east side of Martin Grove. The left lane's blocked with a collision. It's backed up from Signal Hill, which is halfway between the 427 and Highway 27. So very heavy heading that way. Also, the intersection of Highway 27 and Rutherford closed for a block in all directions. That's because of a collision, and it could be a while before that reopens. From the traffic center, here's Craig Gear.
Leaving on the West Gardner, slow from joining at Jarvis towards Jameson. QEW with volume between the 427 and Huron, Ontario thereabouts, and Ford Drive to Trafalgar as well. And then spotty after that for a little bit. Toronto-bound QEW slow, Red Hill Valley Parkway to Third Line. On and off a break or two in that mess, and then slows again east of Erin Mills through to Dixie, and your eastbound Gardner's busy from Islington to east to Jameson thanks to the long-term construction. Stalled vehicle in the right lane, westbound Shepherd past Yorkland. This is approaching the 404. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Visit markfeldstein.ca.
Oh my God! Is there nothing you people can't do? I mean, other than manual labor.
Hey, Dad. This morning, it feels like a -1 right now. Just a light wind out of the northeast, but it will pick up through the day out of the northwest. 5 degrees a guaranteed high. Could get some sunny breaks this afternoon, and then tonight partly cloudy, still windy. -1 will feel like -6 for early Friday. A chance of flurries tomorrow, and then the possibility of some snow squalls late Friday night, early Saturday, even around Toronto and the GTA. Most of the activity, though, Friday through to Sunday for the snow belts. Quite impactful. Could see 40 plus centimeters of snow in spots for areas near Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Tomorrow's high 2, highs on the weekend, only about 0 or +1. Right now it's 1 degree, still some light snow flurries at Toronto Pearson, the guaranteed high 5.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, police believe the suspect in a shooting and carjacking last night is the same man who was shooting at drivers on the 401 earlier this week.
680 News Time, 7:53.
Well, forget traditional cookbooks. Young people prefer to find their kitchen inspiration on TikTok. 680's Eva Fragiscatos has more.
TikTok has it all, from the viral smashed cucumber salad recipe to the viral feta tomato pasta. And that's why a new UK report found 18 to 34-year-olds prefer to take a freestyle approach to cooking, finding meal ideas on social media.
Add in your eggs and green onion and toss until combined. Finally season with white pepper, soy sauce, and sesame oil.
The annual report by UK supermarket chain Waitrose says 3/4 of younger Brits feel confident making a meal without a recipe because of what they've seen on Instagram and TikTok. The data also found young cooks are concerned about ultra-processed foods, so nearly 2/3 prefer to make meals from scratch. When it comes to alcohol, the report found young people are also alternating between alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Tim's Donut and Coffee is the original collab. And right now in Toronto, any classic donut is $1 when you buy any size original or dark roast coffee. Get a deal on the iconic duo with a Tim's Dollar Donut. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Toronto for limited time.
Until December 4th at your go-to Metro or online at metro.ca.
And now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Here's Mike Apple.
Hey, Catherine, good morning. We've had a lot of discussion about this planned GST holiday set to take effect December 14th. The official legislation to make that happen will be done and voted on today in Ottawa. The country's small business sector, though, is not necessarily all that enthused about the whole idea. A study in by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business this morning indicating that just 4% of small business operators expect stronger sales results as a result of the temporary GST cutback. Small firms, according to the CFIB, don't have the time or resources to effectively make the changes to accommodate the temporary change, and very few will believe there will be any net benefit. In as much as, with the removal of the GST happening on December 14th, some consumers may just wait until that actually takes effect, and they won't see the bump that they typically get for the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, which, of course, will start tomorrow. Wall Street's closed today for the American Thanksgiving, and Bay Street will have a regular day of trade coming up. TSX yesterday hit a record. It was up another 83 points. It's now up 5.5% for November with just 2 more trading days to go. The dollar this morning, 71.37, up 0.1 cent. And gold up $5.2669 at the Business Center. I'm Mike Apple.
At Dynamic.
Best brand appliance, now in Toronto, Vaughan, and Oakville, Burlington.
Right now in Mississauga, we've got some light rain. It's +1. In Barrie, just a few clouds, -1. In downtown Toronto, light rain and 2 degrees. 680 News Radio is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 8 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 680 News Radio Toronto.
It's Thursday, November 28th. Good morning. I'm Paul Cook.
I'm Catherine Jeté. Here's what's making news right now.